Yo everybody, Haku here with the Tower of God Chapter 264, Season 2, Episode 184, The Dollar Show 12 review. I had the live reaction done yesterday, but the audio was messed up, so I'm sorry guys, I can't re-react. There's going to be no live reaction for this chapter, but I do have a review after going over the chapter a couple more times, and let's get into it. So first we've got Kun, Danwa, and Rian trapped between Kasano and the guy in the cloak, and Yura and Rachel. Kun's been expecting it. He knew somebody would follow them, and he starts off by sort of questioning, bringing up Rachel's perseverance, and she's like, "Don't you know I have perseverance? I pretended my leg was broken so you guys would carry me up the tower for a couple of years." Then we've got Danwa telling Yura to hurry up and run over to their side because you can't trust FUG, they're just using her for their own ends. And she just sort of stutters, which I thought was really weird. I don't always get Yura's character. Her personality hasn't really been made clear in the story yet. And her entire role in the story is kind of just a strange backseat position that I'm not even sure why her and Danwa are there anymore. They could have been done with after Revolution Road, but I'm sure SIU's doing something with them if they keep mentioning them. So on from there, Kun starts talking about how Kasano is probably around Ron's strength or more without the lightning pill, which I would have said Kasano was even stronger than that, because the bad guy needs to be a pretty good, strong bad guy that the good guys have to work to take down. He also says he shouldn't underestimate Yura. And yeah, Yura really did hold her own against Kun during the Wooden Horse arc. And I do think she is a serious threat in a fight. She just, like I said before, has not really been that important personality-wise and plot-wise. So then we get into the best part of the chapter by far. I was so excited for it. Rak and Cherry La show up, and Rak turns into his big normal self, blocks an attack from Kasano using a spear, and Cherry La grabs the cloaked guy that's always following Kasano around. I thought it was Traveler, just grabs him in the orb, and then they hold him hostage, saying that they know the kid's important to him. So maybe it isn't Traveler if they're so important to them. Or maybe Traveler is important because Emily won't work without Traveler. Something. I'd say that it's pretty likely that it might still be Traveler, and just Emily doesn't want to work without Traveler there to be there with her, since he was messaging her and they were kind of talking like they loved each other, but she was doing that with like a million other people because of what she is, not really being human and all of that. So then Kun explains the big plan that he had the whole time. He was locking every door they went through using $1 so that his team or even the enemies would know that they'd have to follow the doors that were already closed to catch up to where somebody had already been. And that was his way of signaling to one of the groups of teammates to show up to him. And in this plan, even if the enemies were to catch up to them, Kun's team has a massive amount of dollars, and they could have placed a high lock on one of the doors. So Kun proposes a one-on-one match with Rachel, and there's some comedy paneling that I've never seen anything like that before in SIU's work, and it was really nice. I like the way he did it, and a really good sort of line view of the people spectating Kun versus Rachel, and that was a really, really nice panel too. So Kun's idea for the one-on-one match is to just flip a coin, heads or tails, and that'll decide what they do with all their dollars. It's a contest of luck, and a contest of luck is the only thing that Rachel could beat him in, because he says she couldn't beat him in a fight. We've already seen that. She couldn't beat him in a battle of wits. We've already seen that. So the only match that could be fair and equal is a match in which luck is the only thing that decides, and Rachel accepts and says she's excited to see who wins. Then we finally get back in this chapter to Bam and Joaquin, and they're having their little standoff, and Yeon notices Rangnan's body on the ground and starts running to him, and Joaquin blocks the way with his sword and starts talking about how she shouldn't pick up scraps after people have eaten. So that lends more to what a couple people are thinking. Rainman's now inside of Joaquin, and maybe he will take him down from the inside or something like that at some crucial point, weaken him some way. Joaquin finds out that Dom knows that he is white, and that's when we find out that Boro didn't know that he was white, which I find interesting. Boro and them have all this history with them, but they didn't have that one crucial piece of information as to who he once was, being the big Slayer nominee / I think he may have already been a Slayer. Yeah, he was a Slayer, and Baum asks him, what in the hell did you do to lose your position as a Slayer? I mean, how does somebody do something that FUG is like, no, you can't be a Slayer anymore? So Joaquin's answer is pretty much, he's killed people. He's killed like 1 billion people. 1 billion's the number he throws out there, and we've seen the Tower of God world is huge, so I guess it's possible he could have killed 1 billion people. We don't know what higher floors are like either. And when he says that he's killed 1 billion people, Yeon goes in to attack, starts like rearing up her fire or whatever, and Sachi and Bomb are screaming for her to not do anything, and the fire just goes out. Joaquin puts out her flame from a distance, and I thought that was a really cool, like, a way of showing that he's strong and he's gotten stronger without making him have to like kill somebody or do a big attack. It's just a nice subtle way of showing his new strength now that he's absorbed a few of his siblings. Then at the very, very end, we've got Joaquin face to face with Bomb, telling him about how he would be slitting his throat to take back his position as Slayer. And again, really good art, really good little conversation back and forth. Joaquin's turned out to be a really good villain, and I still think that this round is going to end with whatever happens between Kun and Rachel, and we're not really going to get a big Bomb and Joaquin fight until at least next round. So yeah, in the end, the art was really great. The art's always really, really high quality in Tower of God, and this week wasn't an exception. But it wasn't amazing. It didn't blow me away. There were some really great panels in there. A few, like the one where Rock and Ryun and Kasano and all were standing in a line watching Kun versus Rachel's 1v1, and they were standing on the 2 little lighthouses. And as far as story progression and character development, it got us a little bit. I mean, not a ton happened. This wasn't like a big chapter, but enough happened that it didn't feel like it was boring. I was really excited to read, and I'm really excited to read again next week. And we did have that one big moment where Rock showed up, and those are the kind of moments that make you want to read. I was so excited that Rock finally showed up, thought that we were maybe getting a big fight with him finally, but unfortunately they just kind of had him show up and then didn't have a big fight again, which happens a lot with Rock, but what are you going to do? So in the end, great chapter, wonderful artwork, good character development and story, solid 4 out of 5, but nothing more than that. Anyway, if you liked anything, leave a like, subscribe if you want to, follow the channel on Twitter, it'll be down in the description. Put what you thought about the chapter in the comments and start a discussion. I will see you guys next time.